Like, on a side note, it was so fun working with you. It was so much fun working with you. Like,
Oh,
I never
thank
got we never
you.
got a chance to really talk about, like, oh my goodness. Like, first of all, I'm excited for December. Like, I'm ready to see Evelyn Scott. I'm
Mm.
ready to see the romance and all the hard work that we put into this film. Like, how does it feel for you? How does it feel to like be a part of this amazing process? Because with readers, you see manifestation on words, but now you've seen it on film. So like,
Mm.
how does that feel for you to like be a woman of this status to be able to articulate such an amazing story?
It's well, it's a real honor. It's I know Kylie has she's actually from my hometown. It's in Brisbane in Queensland, and so I met her, and I was really excited. I'm so excited to do this book because there's a lot of fans who come up to me and
This is right here. If you see, I got two peaches. Of course, Georgia is the peach state. So,
yeah.
I'm a manifest a time when I see you again. I will make sure I give you my peach. It's delicious. I got it from Kroger's. Hey y'all, welcome back to Peach Ties. I am absolutely thrilled to introduce our next guest, someone who knows how to bring romance and passion to life on screen. She's an incredibly talented director with a gift for directing powerful, emotional stories. Our movie Lick is out now, exclusively on Passionflix. We'll be diving into behind the scenes on what it's like adapting beloved books for the screen, and what makes Passionflix such a unique platform for romance lovers. Please welcome to my show, Dr. Louise Alston. Hello, this is Morgan Faith Harrell, founder of Faithsthetics and Faith in the Unseen. Welcome to Peach Ties. Today we have an amazing Australian award-winning director coming from across from the red clay. You've seen her work everywhere across the world, has directed over 9 feature films. You have seen her work in TIFF, which is a very hard film festival to get into. You've seen all her movies from Lifetime to Disney and Passionflix. Please welcome to my guest, Dr. Louise Alston. How are you doing?
Hi, Morgan. No one ever calls me doctor.
It's good to have a doctorate because more women are getting their masters and doctors, especially in this climate, because
Yeah.
this is the year of the woman in 2024. We have, of course, our own degrees, our own careers to where we're really independent. And
Mm.
being a woman director, of course, with all your work, including in Passionflix, you see so many readers now seeing so many of novels taking romance to the screen. And Passionflix has grown so much with the streaming service. And you see so many people loving that they get to see words on paper being manifested and adapted to film. So with Lick, what is something you're excited about that not only you directed this movie, but what do you want to tell the readers? What are they anticipating before we see this movie in December?
Well, the thing I really love about doing Passionflix films is that they are romance is such a women's genre. Women write it, women read it, and I'm very proud to turn a romance novel into a movie because you know you can read on your own, you can write on your own, but making a movie means you have to lead, and it's sometimes it's hard to build up your career to a point where you are recognized as a leader and able to do that. So I'm very honored to be able to do it. This is my third one, so I'm very
Wow.
grateful. So, but yeah, I think because of all that, it's romance books, romance movies. They are catering to the woman's gaze, and the woman's gaze includes her imagination. And
Mm,
and I think that like looking at like when you're reading a novel, you really you can let yourself go from like everyday troubles and really go into a world where there's always a happy ending. and and you're treated right and you're looked after and the guy um well, it's nice to have complicated characters, and I think that
yes.
the best romances do have complicated characters. So the guy is not always perfect, and the heroine is not always perfect, but there's always a happy ending, and that's really appealing.
And with a happy ending, with any production, I really think that with the director having the hands and reins on the film, it's all about leadership. And I was so grateful to be the assistant intimacy coordinator because looking, seeing your leadership and how you just guided the characters, the crew, and cast on set, it made people feel like they were at home and comfortable in their skin when shooting this whole process. It was an honor to work with you, and with characters itself. With rom coms, has there ever been any other genres of film that you ever wanted to dive into besides romance?
Well, I have done thriller films, like you mentioned my Lifetime film, that was
Yes.
called the one that's out at the moment's called, My Husband's 7 Wives. So it's, that's also that like, a thriller film is also a genre film,
Mhm.
and you can do some really interesting things with that. Um, but I think both thriller films and romance films, they've both got a kind of, they're both about fear. I think they're about fear. They're about and just risk and um, yeah. It's I think it's always about like setting up the stakes and and having the payoff. And it's always like so the suspense and the romantic suspense.
Mhm.
I feel like they're really similar in terms of directing. Like you're setting up different energies, but in the same way. They're both very emotional, and you're taking your audience in your pocket on a journey. So,
Definitely. And life is a journey itself. And of course with like anyone is if you're an actor or you're a director or producer, it's always ups and downs in your field. Was there a
yes.
time where was the pivoted moment when you looked at yourself and your faith was tested? Where you felt like, you know what, maybe this career is not for me, but you hung in there. When was that time when you just felt a little doubted?
Hmm. I think I think we're always going to feel that. It's always risking everything when you're being an artist. Um, it's just so easy not to be an artist because, and you're always taking a risk. You're always saying something, you're always finding something to say, you're always trying to make a living, and you're always trying to, get to the next level or at least progress. So, often on you when you're doing an artistic career, you're not necessarily um, you're just looking for the next challenge. So
Mhm.
it's really important to spend a lot of, and you do spend a lot of time um, just trying to stay in your own lane, not look sideways, look what's happening for other people, and just be really devoted to what it is that you're doing right now. What is the next step? And what is that next challenge? And it might be going sideways. It might not be going straight forward. So it is always like a it's always like a mental load to work in
Mhm.
the arts, I think. And you've got to try, and it's always a strategy game, in terms of doing your art and in terms of making your life work. Like most of the time you're a freelancer. I've got a bit of art up here. This is my my
Ooh,
friend did this thing that says freelancing, don't give up your day job. But I just thought it was
wow.
so inspiring.
I
Um,
love
so, well, it actually says don't give up your day job, but don't is crossed out. So,
that.
anytime you do that, it's a risk.
Mhm.
So, living in the risk is sometimes the best way to live. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the best person before you leave this earth is be a risk taker because sometimes I think about this a lot. I don't want
mhm.
to be on my deathbed and have any regret. I want to make sure that I leave everything off the table, make sure that at least before I die, that I have tried everything that I set my heart to do. And it's great to see that yourself, that you're very successful in your field, and it will inspire other women to pursue a degree in the arts. I don't know if you know this, but my bachelor's is actually in dance. And let me
Really?
tell you, yes. And let me tell you, when I graduated from college, not from college, from high school, and,
Mm.
told people what I wanted to major in, it was a lot of, it was a lot of, I guess, criticism in a way, but kind of like, just thinking like, oh, because it is different. It is a risk. But
Mm.
now I can look back at it and say, you know what? I'm so happy I did it.
Yeah.
You can look and be like, you know what? I'm glad I went through that, because now I can see why when you work, the thing is this, there's no elevator to success. And you would feel so much better actually walking up the stairs to get it. It
Yeah.
feels more fulfilling, and you feel more satisfied that God made you wait for the blessing that he delivered to
Yeah.
you.
And dance is such an amazing art form because it's physical.
Hmm.
You're really challenging your body. It's not just your mind. How is that different when you compare that to doing other art?
I feel that dancers, well, this is actually a quote from when I did a Jasmine's Blues with Tyler Perry.
Oh,
Debbie
yeah.
Allen was the choreographer,
Yeah.
and we were actually in it's like on his land. He had, of course, a White House replica. We shot the Oval on BET. And we
That's
were
right.
rehearsing for the juke joint scene because the movie was set, of course, back in the 30s. And she said something I would never forget, that dancers are some of the best storytellers. So when I think of dance, I think of it as my medicine, and I can't breathe without it. And I'm able to tell a story very clearly because I see it as a math equation. It doesn't matter how I rearrange the variables, I'm always going to find an answer to the problem.
Yeah.
So dance is a part of my life. It's a part of my gift that God gave me, and like God is giving you a gift because you always followed your gut, and look where you are now. So when you always go with your gut, you will always right.
Mm.
And speaking of following with your gut, let's just say hypothetically, right?
Yeah.
If you were given the unlimited budget, right, and you're in the executive producer chair and still
Yeah.
directing too, if you had to produce your dream rom-com film, and you
Mhm.
can pick one A-list male actor and one A-list female actor, who would it be?
Well, um, I would love to work with Meryl Streep. And
Yes!
it's
I love
unlimited.
her.
It's unlimited. Of course, I would pick Meryl Streep. And wouldn't and doesn't she do? I love that she's a comedian. I love that
Yes.
she's a comedian and she does drama, and it's just effortless. So looks effortless. But I'm yeah, I would love to direct her in a rom com. And next to her,
Mhm. Hmm.
I think, ooh, Brad Pitt.
Ooh, that's a good choice. Oh, Marilyn Streep is such, oh, The Devil Wears
She's
Prada,
older than him, but I think that could really work. That could
that
be
would
the
definitely
story.
work. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
We will manifest this. We will
Mm,
manifest it into existence. The Devil's Wear Prada. I mean, it's like she wasn't even acting. She was being,
mm,
just being. And I think some of the best actors, they don't act at all. They're living in their character. They see
mm.
themselves going through a situation in their own life and applying it to the film, which is so wild. And
Mm.
Louise, let me tell you something. I grew up a Disney kid.
Yeah.
And back in the net, let's talk about that
Oh,
because,
yes?
oh my goodness, Disney, I know like everyone with childhood dreams of like looking and seeing themselves in like a Disney feature. What was it like working on like a Disney project? And what is actually your favorite Disney movie or Disney princess?
Ooh, I'd say my favorite Disney is probably the really, really old version of Parent Trap. Like, I haven't seen it in probably a decade, but what I remember of it, it's great. So, actually, you know what? I'm gonna swap it out for Lindsay Lohan because I am a big Lindsay Lohan fan. And when she was doing those movies back in the day, she was great. Was Parent Trap a Disney movie? It must have been a Disney movie. Yes. Anyway,
Yes.
I remember watching it on the original on Saturday night, old fashioned TV, Saturday night, the Disney movie, and it was like a dream come true that I got to make one of those. I got to make a Disney original. It was amazing to do that, and it was really great. Working with Sophia Wiley, fabulous dancer. I was so
Yes.
glad to work with her, and I had to cast girls who were going to be soccer players. So I cast dancers. So they were all super fit and really, really ready to like throw their bodies into learning to play soccer, number one, but then like playing it like amazing, like bosses. And I'm afraid to tell you that so many, usually older guys, kept saying, "How are we going to make sure they look like can play soccer?" And I was like,
That's funny.
and by the end of it, like one of the guys happened to be in the edit suite and said, "Oh, Louise, I can't believe you made them look like they can play soccer." And I just went, and he noticed, and
Right.
and he said, "What?" And I said, "Oh, I appreciate the note, but the note has been given a lot." It was like, so I think it was people just didn't realize that like 15-year-old girls can have strong bodies, and
Yes.
dancing 15-year-olds have strong bodies, and they can do anything and they can apply themselves. One thing was when I asked them to kick soccer balls, they would do it with pointed feet. So they would kick hard and lift their leg way up and point their toes. I'd have to cut before I got a pointed toe because that's
Wow.
not how you play soccer. But they couldn't break the habit of having a pointed toe.
Pointed
So
toe.
it was an honor to work with those girls, and they were really great. And it was a real sense of playing and learning and striving, which was all the themes of the movie. So I really feel like we captured that.
That's wonderful. And two, I'm telling you, what a big accomplishment to have a feature film be accepted for TIFF. I know when you were accepted, I know you were over the moon. Like, what was your reaction when you realized that you were accepted and selected? And of course, the film did well. What was that like? I know you were like in a state of shock because TIFF is a very hard, and y'all, I'm telling you right now, it is not easy to get into TIFF. And
Yeah,
that's how
it's
I know
hard.
that's God. That's God touching over your life. How was that feeling for you and your team?
Um, it was amazing. It was really amazing. I, I, to be honest, I can't actually remember the moment, but I do remember the feeling. Um, and it felt like, and I wasn't able to tell anybody. So I was
Mhm.
so excited, and I just sort of carried it as a secret for about 3 months before it became public. And so
Ugh,
just I felt like my heart was full for 3 months,
for 3 months.
and it was
Wow.
like, so it doesn't matter that nobody knows, and it's just that I feel good. And it was really lovely that when we got in and we went to Canada, and we got so much press and interviewed.
Mhm.
We got on
Yes.
Canadian TV and all this stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And the really amazing thing is we made that movie with basically a short film budget, and then we kind of shot it in our house, and It was a credit card movie, really, but we got some funding to start out with. We applied for a short film grant, and
Mhm.
they allowed us to do a video feature with the money, and so that's how we made it happen. So it was it had a lot of love in that movie.
Wow, that is so awesome. So, with us having this amazing conversation that we're having right now, what would be some women advice that you would give a 28-year-old such as myself
Oh
as a
yes.
lady in the world? What would be some really good, juicy key advice that will stick to my mind that I can ingrain every day?
I think the key to get to achieving goals is setting a date. I went to I knew that I was going to make a movie, my first movie, when I went to a party and I said, "We're going to make a movie in our house, like with our own money, in 2 years." And so, because I knew it would take 2 years to get all the money and the funding and the favors and everything that we needed to do a really ultra low budget movie, and that was called All My Friends Are Leaving Brisbane. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was really about setting that date because it really clarified the steps that I needed to take. So that's my biggest recommendation. Make a goal, set a date, and that will clarify the steps you have to take.
Wow, that's great advice. I will make sure I'll stick that my little sticky note in the mirror. And with recommendations, of course, a lot of with the industry, it's about trust, making
Yeah.
sure that the person is reliable to get the job done. And of course, with like working with Tosca Musk, it took a lot of trust for her to choose you because she knows that you have that resume. She knows that you are advanced and top tier in your class. So, what is it like with working with her, and what are other producers that you would ever dream of course that you will be, not if, when you will be working for one day?
Well, I've always loved Michael Douglas as a producer, Danny DeVito as a
Mhm.
producer. Um, like just impeccable taste and um, and just some really great films those guys have made. But I don't know. I hope they stick around as producers for long enough for me to get into their world.
Right. Oh my goodness. And by the way, your makeup looks amazing, and I love
Oh,
your red lipstick. I love it. I love it.
thank you.
I got my lip gloss and of course with my makeup and everything. And you know what? With makeup, of course we're running all day. We're
Yeah.
directors. And you know what? Sometimes you don't have a lot of time to touch up your makeup. And what I love about my Evian partner is if you ever are running late to a meeting, if you're trying to shoot something and you don't have time to go to the bathroom and touch up, what I love is my Evian spray. As you can see here, it's very portable where you can actually put it in your purse. You
Mm.
can put it in your pocket. And it's so simple because it's very sustainable and it feels like a cloud on your face. The only time that I used this was actually before I got here. So, what I love is all you got to do is just shake it up, spray it on your face, and it dries very quickly. And
Mm.
look, all you got to do, put the top back on and go about your day. Very simple. So if you ever want to buy an Evian facial spray, you can see it at your Ulta near you. And when you go to your Ulta store and buy that spray, tell them that Morgan sent you. Wow, Louise, did you have a good time today?
I did, Morgan. I really did. And Morgan, can I just say how great you were on set? When you came on set, it was just really good. You have a really great on set personality. You know, some people can do it, some people can't. I think it's people who can come in and be just on their toes and ready to meet what the energy of the set will be. That's the kind of thing that you brought to set. And what it was really great was a sense of playfulness and play, because I know you're working with us on the intimate scenes, and sometimes people come around to help us on those sort of scenes and be very serious about it. But, that can get in people's heads. So I really loved that you're in a playful space, and you helped us to really just keep in our confidence and be able to achieve the kind of energy that the scene needed. So thank you so much.
You are very welcome, Louise. Wow, you guys, that's all time that we have for today. Thank you for watching. And remember, be kind, be sweet, and it's always good to be a Georgia peach. See you next time. Bye.